All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Glad everyone, those of you who are here, could make it. Um, my name is Shimon Wright. I am a career coach in the University Career Service Center. Today, I wanted to present a workshop for steps to success for first generation college students. So our agenda for today is basically going over what is a first gen college student, the difference between high school and college, the challenges, taking initiative, advocating for yourself as a first gen, developing a community, and how we as University Career Services can support you as a first generation college student here at UNC. So what is a first gen college student? So a first gen college student is basically classified as a student whose parents did not complete a 4-year college or university degree. There are still some unique situations for each student, and it may be viewed differently by others, such as students who may have had a parent who attended the university and received some college experience, but did not finish. There may be other family members who may have attended and maybe even completed a college program, but first generation college students are classified by whether their parents have completed a degree or not. Regardless of the student's background, they all may find the college experience to be extremely, sometimes difficult, or maybe just be an extreme adjustment, and have much more in common than some may think. So, this could again be of course, students from different backgrounds and things like that. Some people ask, well, what if I had a sibling who had attended college? You're still considered a first generational college student because it is still related to if your parents have graduated. So you and your sibling will both be considered first generation college students. So I want to ask a question to some of you. In what ways were you prepared as a first gen college student before you started attending UNC? And you can put those in the chat if you like. Or if you want to say them out loud, that is fine too. But either way is fine. I just wanted to ask, what ways were you prepared as a first generation college student?
Yeah, for me, I wasn't really given the advice from my parents since they didn't attend college. So I spent a lot of my time looking at online resources and like reading articles. Since I'm also like the oldest sibling as well. So it was
Okay.
really hard to lean on to someone. So I had to seek advice from like high school counselors or like Google, for example, just to see what other people's experiences were like.
Right. Yeah. Just like again, when you're in though, when you like you said, you're the oldest. So, and if you're a first generation college student, it's your parents can only support you but so much because they have not prepared themselves, so may not know exactly how well to prepare you. So I'm glad that you were able to utilize the resources that you did have by doing research, talking to high school advisors and things like that to gain some knowledge of college and how to prepare yourself before actually attending. So that's a great way to use your resources. Okay, Gina got advice from our older sister. Yes, so sometimes if you have siblings that has attended college before, sometimes they can pass on some advice to you to kind of help prepare you. So good. All right. So I don't know exactly, what are your classifications? I don't know exactly what is everyone's classification. Are you freshmen, sophomores, or what year are you guys in?
Yeah, I'm a junior.
Okay, junior. Let's see. Okay, on freshman, junior. Okay. So I just asked that because again, I wanted to briefly explain the difference between high school and college because I do understand that it is a big adjustment. So the first thing, of course, is in college we know that there are no parents. There are no parents there to present you or admit someone in. But in college, we know that parents are not present to get you started on your day, and they're not responsible for your attendance like they would be for you in high school. So this is putting some responsibility on you as far as like, okay, getting to school and things like that. That's a big difference. When in high school, you had your parents there to kind of either take you to school or either make sure you got on the bus or something like that. But other than that, or maybe they made sure that you had transportation yourself to get to school. But understand that in college, parents are not present to do that. So that is one major difference. So another one is there is more flexibility in college than there is high school with schedules. So it's important for students to learn their schedules to manage studies and time effectively. Your schedule in high school may have been like a straight 6 to 7 hour day. But in college, you have flexibility where you may have some morning classes, you might have a break, and then you might have some evening classes, or you may not have as many classes per day like you would in high school. So there's a lot of flexibility going on. The next thing is that all responsibilities are on the student. This means that it is the student's duty to check emails, prepare for classes, review the syllabus, register for classes, and complete assignments in a timely manner. So students must be proactive in managing their time and making sure that certain aspects like housing and financial aid are secured each semester. Time management is key to ensure that responsibilities are handled effectively. So as a college student, you have probably seen that you have gotten a lot of responsibilities when it comes to being reminded of things, especially when it comes to, again, like financial aid. Some people didn't even know that financial aid has to be done yearly. They think sometimes it's one time and you're good to go, but actually it's something that you have to do every single year. So it's just certain things that are your responsibility now that you are in college. Another difference is that the class sizes are typically much bigger in college than in high school. So in high school, you may have had classes probably with no more than 30, maybe 35, depending on how big your high school was, but probably between 30 to 35 students. So it is vital for students to build connections with professors and be proactive in ways to retrieve information from lectures. So your class sizes in college are sometimes a bit bigger. You may have a class with about 80 to 90 students in there sometimes. So it just all depends. I don't know if anyone's had a class like that yet, but yes, you can sometimes have classes with a lot of students. So it's important for you to try to build that connection with your professors to make sure they see you, know who you are, and things like that, because you want to make sure that you are retrieving the information effectively. I remember when attending college myself, because I'm also a first generation college student. When I started attending college, I remember in high school, I would always sit in the back of the class. But in college, I said, you know what, this is different. I need to make sure I get this information. I sat in the front of almost every class that I had in college when I first got there, because I knew the classes were much bigger and I wanted my face to be seen by the professor every day so they knew exactly who I was. Another thing that is different is the teaching styles are different in the way that professors not only use textbooks like they do in high schools, but in college, they also use articles, media, and lectures to provide instruction. And the grading system is also different in college. It is important for students to be able to review the syllabus for point systems for each of their classes. Every class may not be the same with point systems. So it's important for students to know what that point system may be, and also try to figure out, okay, what points do I need to try to get on each assignment in order to make sure I get a certain grade in this class. So here are some things that students from surveys have said they wish they knew before attending college. So the first one is saying about 22% of undergraduate students, this is at Marquette University, identified as a first gen. So one of them said, again, they didn't know that you have to complete FAFSA every year. Getting a low score on your first midterm exam is not the end of the world, so don't drop the class. Do go to office hours. And if you have to, become familiar with the last date to drop before being penalized with a withdrawal. So again, as a first generation college student, you may not know that. You may feel like you have to stick it out because of, again, you may not know that I can drop this class and just do something else and maybe take it again later or something like that. But this is something that, you can learn if you learn it now or learn it in the beginning. You feel more confident about the way you handle midterms and exams. Getting involved is the best way to feel like a sense of belonging. So getting involved in organizations, clubs, just going to events and things like that can, for one, open up some doors for you and also build onto your connections. They also said there are people in your life who love you unconditionally. They care about your success. A simple call to a caring member of your circle or walk with a friend may help you get back on track. So there may be some days where you may feel overwhelmed and stressed because, school is school. It can be overwhelming at times. You may have a list of things that you have to get completed and life is happening. You may have some jobs and things like that. So it can be overwhelming at times, but make sure you use the time to be able to just call somebody and express what it is that you're going through or feeling at that moment. Let's see. So next I wanted to talk about some of the challenges for first-gen college students. So the first one is pressure from family to excel. A lot of students have mentioned that this is something commonly that they experience being a first-gen college student. So there may be a lot of pressure on a first-gen student to succeed in college, which can create anxiety, frustration, or even guilt. This can impact the way students perform during their time in college. Also, another challenge is relating to peers who are not first-gen college students. So it may be difficult for them to relate to them and to get them, and because they may not have been prepared the way that, non-first-gen students have been prepared for school. Next is learning the unspoken cultural norms and expectations of university life. So learning the academic systems, the expectations and the norms of university life can be complex for a student. So that can be very challenging. Next, first generation students may be reluctant to ask questions in class or around campus because they may feel incompetent or isolated to other students who are used to the academic system. So sometimes you may be hesitant as a first college generation, for a first gen, you may be a little hesitant to even ask questions or try to find your way around because you don't want to seem like you are incompetent to what is going on to the systems of schooling. It can be difficult for first gens who may not have the direction to talk about certain concerns or aspects that are vital to their success in college, such as going to financial aid, if there is Greek life opportunities that they wish to get in, but don't know exactly who to talk to, or any other student organizations. So it could be a lot of things where it could be a challenge to find exactly who it is that you need to speak with in order to do certain things on campus. A lot of times throughout that first year, many students become homesick and they must deal with the new adjustment that comes with being a college student and being away from home. So sometimes those feelings of being homesick can come up, and it could be, again, it could just create some anxiety or maybe even, down moods just because you're missing home and things like that. So that can also just impact the way that maybe you perform in your classes. And another challenge is imposter syndrome. Does anyone know what imposter syndrome is? Anyone at all?
Yeah, it's like when you feel like you don't belong in a certain situation and that you feel like lower level than others.
Right. Basically exactly what it is. Thank you, Stephanie. So yes, imposter syndrome is when a person may feel that they are incompetent or undeserving to be where they are, and it can impact their mood and performance when they are just as deserving to be at the university as any other student on campus. So they have the skill and the knowledge to perform effectively. They just have to believe it. So as a first gen college student, what are some challenges that you all have faced? Again, you can say it out loud or put it in the chat. I just want to hear from some of you of what are some challenges that you faced when you came to UNC? I'll open up the chat. So, any challenges that anyone has faced while being here? All right. Imposter syndrome, feeling like I didn't have a community. Yes, yes, very common, although it is a challenge for all new students. Yes, yes, definitely. And then just being a new college student and a first gen college student being together, that can just create even more pressure. Hard to have my parent understand your situation. Exactly. Exactly. If they, sometimes our parents may not understand the complexities that come with college. And again, you may be trying to explain stuff to them. And they just probably, sometimes our parents may say, I know for me, my parents would just say, oh, well, just make sure you just take a nap or something, or you can do it. Just make sure you get, you study a little harder or something like that. And I'm trying to explain to them that it's a little more than that. It's a little more than me just having to study a little harder or something like that. So yes, parents not understanding exactly what your situation is very common as well. So felt that adapting was one of the main challenges for you. Also had some mental health issues that my parents refused to understand. Exactly, definitely. I definitely see that a lot too. I'm definitely going to talk a little bit about that as well moving forward in some of our other slides about, especially when mental health becomes when it starts to arise in us as college students. We again may not know exactly who we can talk to. And then again, if our parents don't quite understand what we're dealing with on top of college, on top of mental health and our personal life, that can be exhausting. So yeah, I'm glad you guys were able to share that. Thank you so much. So as a first gen college student, one thing you can do for sure is take initiative. Take initiative for yourself to make sure that you are doing everything you can to walk towards the steps to success as a college student. So the first thing is self-awareness. Learn about yourself and what you would like to accomplish at UNC. This could be taking assessments around your personality and interest and seeing how it contributes to your college and career goals. Also attend events to learn more about different events on campus. And to learn about different avenues on campus, and to also network and build connections with people who can benefit your process from your process in school. Also, engage in tutoring. It's okay to engage in tutoring or mentoring services if you are struggling academically. You do not have to do this alone. So if there is an opportunity for you to receive tutoring and you see like maybe some of your academic grades are starting to slip in certain areas, it is okay to reach out to try to get assistance with that so that you're not falling behind. Also, develop a plan or schedules that will help you stay on top of deadlines and certain goals. It's very important in college. In high school, you didn't really have the time to do a lot of planning, but as soon as you get to college, it's like, okay, I got 100 calendars open and I'm trying to figure out where everything goes. So definitely develop a plan or a schedule to help you stay on top of things. One of the great things you could do is utilize the University Career Services. So the University Career Services offers services to assist you with career development and any goals that you may have with as far as college related goals, even if it's trying to get an internship, reviewing resumes or things like that. Utilize any of those services to help support you in your journey in college. And kind of like what someone was stating earlier, definitely the Counseling and Psychological Service Center, which is what they call CAPS, can support students who may find adjustment to college to be mentally and emotionally complex. So I definitely suggest that if any student is feeling, having the pressures of college and it's affecting them mentally and emotionally, to definitely go and check them out just to, get some assistance around that. So that's just one less thing that you will have to worry about. Well, I don't say that's the one thing less thing to worry about. One less thing that is as concerning because you're getting assistance. Next thing you can do to take initiative is to build a supporting community. Work on building a village that's to support you while you're here at UNC. Your support system can be very vital to your student success on campus. We all need someone, so understand that, definitely it's okay to build a community, get into, if it is organizations or clubs, if it is building communities within your classes and getting some of your classmates' phones numbers and contacts so that you can stay in touch and they can support you in different ways. And then also utilize all university resources around the world. Just don't stick with what's at UNC. There are other resources at different universities that you can definitely look up that can be helpful for first-generation college students. So different universities have various resources that support first-gen college students. You just have to it just depends on which college you're looking at, but definitely take the time to do that research because a lot of my information today comes from Marquette University. So I'll show you guys the references if anyone would like that. So here's just one way to take initiative is to kind of build you a mindful study schedule. So the first step into doing this is basically create yourself a schedule and then start to assess how long, the first step would be to assess how long it takes you to complete your coursework, your readings, and your study time. This allows you to plan out what days in which you can complete these activities. And I'm sorry if it's too small. Can everyone see this pretty well, or is it too small? If not, I would make sure I send it to you if it is too small, so I do apologize. But I'll definitely send it to everyone. But this allows you to, again, a plan for the days in which the activities you can complete these. The next thing you can do will be ways to think about the ways you can manage your energy. There are days where you don't always have the energy to do things. So think about the days and times where you are the most focused and free of distractions to get tasks completed. Once you have figured out the number of hours it takes you to complete those tasks and the days and times which are best to do them, develop a schedule on how you would carry out specific tasks on certain days. This is called a work day, and they're designed for you to be proactive and stay on top of things academically. And lastly, there will be times again where you may not have the mindset or the energy to lock in on your work. So utilize this time to do what Marquette University calls productive procrastination. So productive procrastination are small activities that can help you prepare for the main task that you actually have to do. The goal is to prepare to have an effective study session so that you don't have to use your prime time preparing and you can dive right in. So in those times, when you're in that mindset of like, I just don't have the mindset or the energy to jump right in, you could just be doing stuff like pulling up some articles or, just doing like little small things around it to prepare for the prime time. So at least you're getting something done in that time. And it's not, you're being productive, even though you're kind of procrastinating on jumping directly into the activity. And here's just a possible, this is what a schedule could look like for you. If you are trying to, if you are a paper person or a digital person, this is just a way, you could format a schedule, and I can also send this to you as well for anyone who would like this schedule to help them in their academic studies. So another thing as a first gen college student that you could do is advocate for yourself. So acknowledge when you are struggling and speak up. It's okay to, again, not always get the best grades and things like that, but when you're starting to notice that things are getting a little complex, speak up, talk to your professors, talk to your advisors, talk to any mentors or friends that you may have because they can support you. Address when you may feel discriminated or treated unfairly in your academic studies. Sometimes as first generation college students, they experience some of that feedback from either professors or staff on campus. So definitely address when you may feel that this may be happening to you. Join organizations that support first gen students so that you can learn more about what can be done to support others. I don't know if anyone is a part of Carolina First, but if so, definitely looking to getting more involved with Carolina First, because they are very supportive in supporting first generation college students. Also be proud of where you are. Again, at times we may feel like, imposter syndrome may creep up on us, but be proud of where you are, because you are deserving to be here and you have done everything that is necessary to showcase that you deserve to be here. Engage in various experiences to learn skills and build upon yourself, and have conversations with others about your experiences here on campus as well. Because again, you have more in common with others than you may think. So definitely have those conversations with others about what it is that you may be experiencing or going through as a first gen college student. So this is just a little checklist that it could be helpful for any student here. So the first one is a first 9 weeks checklist, and it's so the first one says to meet an educator or an office. One of them says grab a buddy, then join a student union organization. So it's just different things. So, and this doesn't have to necessarily look like yours, but this is just an example where you can create a checklist for yourself, where you can just make sure you're getting these things done within the first 9 weeks, or for the first semester, or the first year, to however you would like to scale it out. And if it's some certain things you want to do before you graduate, also have a list as well for that, so that you can check off things that may need to be done in a timely manner to help make sure that you're prepared for graduation. So checklists are very helpful, and I definitely recommend those. So what does a supporting community look like for you? So again, Carolina First is definitely a resource that is helpful here on UNC campus. So definitely check it out if you haven't already. Another part of your community can be classmates, friends, and colleagues. So the people you have classes with, it's okay to get their contact information to, if you need to ask about homework, assignments, projects, or anything like that. It's okay to do that. Even colleagues, if you have people that you work with who maybe can support you in some of your tasks. If it's like doing an interview, sometimes in certain classes, you may have to interview a certain person at your job, and then it's okay to connect with them so that they could be a part of your community while you're here on UNC campus. Your professors are a very great resource and also supporting factor in your community. So connect with your professors. Again, you may have classes that are extremely big, so sometimes it's better to really connect with your professors so that they can see who you are, put a face to name, and also connect with you in a way where you may be able to use them as a reference. Well, you can use them as a reference for something or anything like that. Or they may be able to write you a letter of recommendation. So connect with them, because they can also help you in ways. They have been here before. They have seen students struggle and maybe be in some of the similar situations that you guys may be in. So they can support you in different ways. So definitely connect with them. Your advisors as well, they know as far as like your academic route, as far as how you would like to go with that. Definitely utilize your advisors to the best of your ability, because that's what they're there for them to support you with your academic journey here. So don't be afraid to reach out to them. Also, again, don't forget CAPS. If you're feeling anything mentally or emotionally that is that's complex for you, utilize that service, because again, mental health is nothing to definitely play with. We definitely want to make sure that your students feel supported while you're here. And that is a great resource to be able to use if you are dealing with anything emotionally or mentally. And then the University Career Services, we could be a part of your community. We can assist you with various things that you may need, that again, that you may not be able to go to your parents or other family members for. So utilize us. And my next thing that I would like to say is, how can you University Career Services support you? So as a career coach, I want to briefly explain to you how we can support you as first gen college students while you're here at UNC. So the first thing is, we are big on the 4 steps to career success. So we help students with self-awareness, understanding who they are, the things that they like, and how it aligns with their career goals. Career exploration is another one. So we want to make sure that students are aware of the different careers that are out there that are related to their major and the process in which it is to obtain that particular career goal. Experiential learning and high impact practices. So this can be internships and volunteer experiences or fellowships. So we assist students with being able to search for those and see how those experiences can help shape their career identity. And also self-marketing and professional branding. So, your LinkedIn profile, or resumes and things like that we make sure that students understand what self-marketing is and how to effectively market themselves for the field or industry that they are getting into. So here are some of the services that we offer. Again, career exploration. We have different resources used to review different careers and what, again, how your major may relate to those. Job and internship services. So Handshake, connecting you on LinkedIn, just connecting with employers. We also have like career fairs and things like that where you connect with employers and potentially get jobs and internships. We also help prepare you for interviews. So if at any point you have an interview coming up, we do mock interviews and in our center. So you can definitely schedule an appointment to get that done to kind of help you feel more confident in your in the real interview that you may have coming up, or if you just want some overall practice. Again, we do resumes and cover letters. So we have career coaches and career peers who will help you go section by section, line by line on how to effectively polish and tailor your resume for the industry that you're trying to get into. So we can help with bringing out certain skills that you may have that may have come from other experiences that you can use to market on your resume. Also, we help with LinkedIn profiles. So if you have LinkedIn or if you're not familiar with LinkedIn, we assist you with constructing and tailoring your LinkedIn profile. Also making sure that you are marketing yourself in the most effective way possible. Overall general career coaching. At times we also help students with how to negotiate salaries and things like that. We also assist with pre-graduate and pre-law school advising. If you're thinking about going to grad school after undergrad, we assist with that process, applications and essays and things like that, trying to make sure that you are marketing yourself well to be admitted in. And we also do career and personality assessments. So we have various resources that you can use to learn more about yourself when it comes to your personality, your interests, your values, and again, how it aligns with your career goals. So again, just learning more about yourself so you can make sure that you're taking all the information to make a more informed decision about what career goal that you would like to obtain. So here are a few ways that you can follow us if you have any of these social media platforms. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So we also have a career readiness newsletter that is sent bi-weekly to students through Handshake. So you can view that to see any upcoming events or current internship or job opportunities that may be offered. So I definitely recommend using that if you are not already connected with the newsletter. All right. Any questions? And I'll stop sharing. But any questions at all?
Yeah, I was curious, since you're also a first gen, what were like some obstacles that you faced while you were trying to obtain your career, and how did you overcome them?
So as a first gen, one of the main things for me that was a big obstacle that I feel was not being prepared as far as like gaining experience. So as a first gen, I was focused on trying to just have a job to support myself in college, and I wasn't thinking about the experience that I should have been trying to get when graduating, when it's time for me to graduate. So that was and again, of course, I didn't have parents to kind of prepare me for that by saying, or getting in my ear to say, Shaman, you know, you need to make sure if this is what you want to do career-wise, you need to be getting skills in these areas and doing these certain things. So I found that to be very one of the biggest obstacles that I came across as a first gen before graduating, because I felt like for me then it was a little bit more complex for me to showcase or market myself in a resume, because the part-time work that I was doing in undergrad wasn't related to what it is I wanted to do. So I had to really pull out my transferable skills, and not to say that you know, I couldn't have still gotten in my field, but you know, it was just a little bit, I had to really pull transferable skills and do things and really showcase and really network with people. I feel like a little harder than maybe the average student. So I think that was probably my biggest obstacle as a first gen.
Yeah, and I can really relate to that as well. It wasn't until college that I realized like it's really important to build your resume for your future career. So I'm really glad that career services helps in that aspect of it.
Yes, yes. So at any point, you know, if you have a resume and you want to make sure that it is tailored and polished to the point you want it for your industry, I definitely suggest making an appointment with your career services so that you can get it polished and tailored just right to make yourself more marketable for whatever industry you're getting into. Any other questions? Any other questions as a first gen college student? All right. Well, I don't know if everyone heard earlier, but I do have a link in the chat. I don't know if everyone can see it, but I'm gonna repaste it in here. We have a survey. If you definitely don't mind giving some feedback on our workshop. Again, I hope this is helpful for you know, anyone up here. Again, utilize career services. We're here to support you while you're here at UNC as well. So again, think about those things. I can also, I want to see if anybody would like that chart. I'm going to put my email in the chat for anyone who wants me to send it to them directly.
And I'm also going to be dropping a form down just so all the attendees can fill out their attendance today. And I can share it with you later.
Okay, yes, please do. That would be very helpful.
Okay, thank you so much today for leading this workshop. You provided great advice for us, and hopefully in the future UCS and FGSA can continue to collaborate. So, but thank you so much for taking your time tonight.
No problem at all. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening.
Yes, have a good night, everyone.
All right.